Hey, you guys, it's Coco, Nation for Change. I got a little bit I want to discuss this evening, but first, I want to bring in a really good friend of mine. He's a fellow advocate, he's also an artist. He's a young man by the name of Nicholas Elijah, and he is my real good friend's son, and he is an amazing young man. You should watch him, you should follow him. Well, we've got a little update. I'm going to bring him on now. And hey, Nick, how are you doing?
Hey, good.
So,
How are you?
so how you been?
Pretty good.
You good?
School has just been weird.
I hear you had a little situation at school though. Well, how was that? What happened?
So there was
And
this
before you
racist
say, I
teacher
want
that
to say this. Before you say, I want to say this. Nick has traveled across this nation in a fight for justice for those who are incarcerated, not only for those that are incarcerated, for lower class families and citizens. And he is a modeled um, pillar in his community for a young man to be where he's at today. He's only 12 years old. Is that right? Just turned 12. So
yeah.
he's not a disrespectful kid. He's not one that goes out there and does anything like that. He stands up with whenever grown men and women do not even have a voice. This young man stands up for what's right and what's justice. So go ahead, Nick. Tell us your story.
So there was this racist teacher at my school, and I was in a class where there was only white kids, and I walked in a little bit late because I didn't know where my class was. And I started school 4 days ago, and this happened 2 days ago. So I was walking around in the class asking where I need to sit at, and he told me to come, and then the teacher told me to come over there. So I went over there, and he said, "You're not allowed to disrupt my class like this. Who are you?" I told him my name, and then he told me to go sit down. I said, "Where do you want me to sit down?" He said, "Don't get disrespectful. Go sit down over there." I said, "Okay." I sat down, and then on the second day, I walked in and I sat in a different place because I didn't know that there were assigned seats. He said, so then he called me over. He said, "So now you're just following your own rules." I said, "No, I didn't know there was assigned seats. I'm sorry." He told me where to go sit down at. And then I had shoes on that were hurting my feet, and I had slides in my backpack. So I walked over to my backpack and I put on my slides. And he said that I can't just get up in the middle of class like that. I said, so then I asked him, "What is your problem with me? I haven't even done nothing to you at all. This is my second day. I don't know the rules yet." And he told me to go wait outside in the hallway. And I was waiting outside in the hallway for like 45 minutes, and my back started to hurt. So I decided to just get my stuff and go to the office to where I could sit down at. I grabbed my stuff, and he said, "Hey, you're not allowed to sit in the." "Hey, you're not allowed to leave. I told you to sit in the hallway." I said, "Well, me being in the office isn't going to be any problem to anybody." So I grabbed my stuff and I went to the office. And then the assistant teacher follows me into a room called a reset room. A reset room is when you're mad, angry, or sad, you go in there and teachers aren't allowed to be in there while the students in there. Well, the assistant teacher follows me and she keeps on telling me to come back to class and she keeps on nagging me. I tell her to leave me the HELL alone, and I told you that I'm trying to calm down. I really don't want to get in trouble for this. And then um all that happened. The principal came and talked to me. I went to lunch, and then after lunch, the principal told me that I had ISR for 3 days. And ISR is in school restrictions. So I have to sit in the class all day. I can't look back. I can't turn my head. I have to face forward, and I have to do my work for 6 hours.
And all of that just because you're the new kid in school and you just didn't know the rules or anything like that. And you just asked where did he want you to sit. Have you witnessed things like this before? And I know you just recently moved and you're in Oklahoma, right?
Hmm.
And so far so good. I mean, anything else, right? You're not being people aren't ugly to you all the time, are they?
No.
It's just that one particular teacher. How does that make you feel, Nick, whenever you sit there and you try to be respectful and you're in front of a person of, of influence that could influence you either one way or the other, right? You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, how does it make you feel to know that you was just trying to your best and ask in a respectful manner, where would you like me to sit? And for someone to treat you like that, what was going through your mind and what happened?
So really, my mom already broke down how schools are like here. So I try to my mind to be respectful as I can and to go somewhere where I know that I'm going to be listened to. So that's why I decided to go to the office. And the office,
I can't hear you, Nick. You're gonna have to set up, baby.
huh?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, so I decided to get my stuff and go to the reset room and talk to my counselor. But the lady decided to follow me in there, and I told her that I needed to calm down so many times, and then she kept on nagging me, and that's what got me like, because I told her that I needed a second, and that I would speak with her once I feel like I'm gonna be respectful all the way. And then she kept on nagging me, and I just lost it.
With you being, and I know that you've been a lot of places across this nation. Have you been to anywhere else that witnessed this type of, how would you call it? Because you told me it was something, and earlier, and was it racism or was it racist? This person, what he was doing, or is it just him, just in a bad day, bad mood, or what? How did it make you
So
feel
on the
when you
first day, I
definition?
thought he was having a bad day, but then
Right.
on the second day, he was acting the same, and I noticed I was in a room full of Caucasian people. So, and then when I walked in a little bit late, he started snapping on me and just getting a really big attitude. So, on the second day, I just thought that he was prejudiced, and then I just decided to go to the office.
You can't hear you, Nick. You're
Oh,
muted.
oh, shoot. Um, so, so on the second day, so I was in a classroom full of Caucasian people, and on the second day, I had noticed that on the second day. So I was gonna go to the office, talk to my counselor, and then from my counselor I would be able to request a schedule change, and the schedule change would mean that I move from team A to team C to have a different teacher.
Okay. And try to keep the phone still, okay, so we can hear you. Okay. We're
Okay.
live. Um, well, you guys, just to bring you up to speed, this is Nick. This is Nick with it. He is a artist. He's also an advocate for those who are incarcerated. He's got personal connections with Miss Amberly Taylor, that happens to be his mom. But Nick has been going through some things, and at this new school, he says that he feels that he has been experienced some prejudice and some racism, and it, he tried to go with respect, and this one particular person just tried to literally just deep, how can you say it, Nick? Like, dehumanize? Would you use that word? Would you go that extreme? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth, because I want people to see what really goes on with
If I was
kids.
that teacher, I wouldn't be going that hard on the new kids. See, now if it was
Right.
someone that's been there for some months, I would I wouldn't be even then I wouldn't be as hard to see what's on me. I would just tell them how it's supposed to be in the classroom. But I mean, I requested a schedule change, so I'm not going to be in
Okay.
his class anymore
Do
or
you
with
think
that
that,
assistant teacher.
whenever I say this, know that I love you with all the same, and back you
Hmm.
100%. Do you get this all the time? Do you feel like this, that it's everywhere, or is it just in some places? Do you feel like people are prejudiced against you because you're a mixed child? Have that ever affected you?
So in Colorado, there was in one particular school, it was Highlands Ranch STEM school. There was a couple of prejudiced kids. I've never met with a prejudiced teacher before, but
Right.
yeah, I've met prejudiced kids, prejudiced people, but never a teacher.
Never a teacher. How did that make you feel? You come across a teacher like that?
It made me feel confused because the teachers aren't supposed to be there to pick out everybody by color and decide how they're going to
Right.
treat them. They're really just there to inform us and educate us on what their subject is.
Right. If you could say anything to any child or any adult or any kid that's actually experienced what you experienced, what would it be? If you could say one thing to let them know that, what, um, it's, what would you say?
Instead of doing what I did, I would just tell them to walk away and ignore them no matter how many times they tell you to do something. Yeah,
Do
just
you have
walk away and ignore them.
what about when it comes to racism and prejudice? What would you say to the kids out there that are experiencing that and being retaliated because of that? Or even if there aren't,
Um,
if they stand up for
well,
racism.
I would tell them to just like it depends on what they're doing. Cause me, they were just saying words. They weren't doing anything physical. But if they're doing something physical, I would tell you to go tell an adult. But if it's something that you're not gonna be able to get away from. Just make sure that you stay safe. And but if you're able to get away from the situation, go talk to an adult.
I'm so sorry you had to experience that, Nick. I know it's a lot these days and times, new place, new school, trying to make new friends and stuff like that. And then you have to go through this and experience that. And we don't talk about race or prejudice or nothing like that, do we? We don't. We just talk about advocacy, what we're going to do to do right in the next time, right? And we try to help
Yes.
people. But whenever we get stuck in these situations, we got to turn the negatives to positives, right? So
Yes.
we got to learn how to do something. We got to learn from all of this, but don't ever, ever allow someone to make you feel less than or make you feel like you're not enough. Okay? Because you
Okay.
are enough. You are perfectly made. Okay? You're uniquely made. And you're an amazing young man. And don't let that get you down. Okay?
Okay.
And I thank you so much. You want to stick around and come back in a little bit later? I'm going to talk about some other things. So you decide if you want to click out, you can. If you don't want to, you can stay on with me. Um, I know that we're going to be talking about there's some situations within organizations. Do you deal with a lot about with Taylor's Voice, don't you?
Mhm.
What is that? Do you help your mom whenever she's with her organizations when it comes to advocacy?
Yeah. So TNI Voice is my mom's friend Iris and my mom Amberly. That's her business, and she reaches out to people to come to events. She creates events, and all of them are either a showcase of music for underground artists or a showcase of talents and advocacy.
Okay, and what do you advocate for? What do you do?
I advocate for school to prison pipelines, max incarceration, and overall racism, and helping people get out of those type of situations.
Whenever you say mass to prison incarceration and pipeline to prison, whenever you bring up the word prison, does that hit home with you?
Yeah.
How does that affect you? How can a 12-year-old kid know anything about prison and mass incarceration?
So, since the time I was 2, I was visiting my grandpa in prison. He was incarcerated for 3 grams of marijuana, and because he didn't take a plea deal, he was given a life sentence.
Mm. How that? I know you was very young, so you've been visiting your grandfather in prison for a long time, huh?
Yeah.
Is it how's the visitation?
Hmm. I mean, it's so. I remember the first time it was really scary. I was scared because it didn't look like a room that that you would be in to talk to somebody. It was all gray. There was concrete everywhere. The concrete was cracked. There was prison guards around everywhere,
It
and it was
was.
just really scary.
It was scary. Do you think that that type of visitation for a child should be different or altered in any way? And
Hmm.
if so, how do you think that they could better it as far as visitation goes for
I
children?
mean, just so the place looked like.
Put your phone to where you can see you, Nick. We
Oh
can't see you.
shoot!
Okay.
So the place it looked like just not a very peaceful or happy place. I mean, really, just the whole scenery could be changed for
Do you
children
think
who are visiting.
for children that are visiting those that are incarcerated, do you think it should be more? Did you get to hold your grandfather? Did he get to hug you? Did y'all have any kind of physical contact? Was that any? No question. How'd that make you feel? Like you could
I
talk to your
mean, it made me feel confused at first, but then I understood all of the possibilities that could happen in between a hug or a handshake.
right? And what are those possibilities?
Giving somebody some type of like everything involving any type of contraband.
Right, and that's drugs and cell phones and such things like that, huh? Okay.
Huh?
So that's considered contraband is considered what, like drugs, cell phones,
Drugs,
different things like
weapons.
that, weapons, right? So you're very, very wise to know everything that you know for being 12 years old and this advocacy stuff. How does it make you feel that you know this stuff? Do you feel more empowered? Do you feel like you can make a difference? That you
Yeah.
can change some things? And you know that you can, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're never going to stop, are you?
Nope.
Good deal. That's what I'm talking about. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, this was Nick. He is a friend of mine's son with Taylor's Voice, also Amberly Taylor. Nick is also an artist. He has experienced something. He's a new student at a school in Oklahoma, and he was suspended and given ISI. Is that it?
ISR.
ISR, and only because he had asked his teacher where he should be at. He felt the first day maybe the teacher was having a bad day, but then the second day he really felt like this teacher was against him because and prejudiced against him because he was a mixed child in that class. I've also known Nick to be an advocate with all kinds of prison reform. He's been across this nation, and he's really not one of those kids that say disrupts the class, or he's not one of those kids that are out there. He's a regular kid, you know, but this is what happens these days. We started talking about that, and we talked about his views about how he is an advocate, what he does do, and how this personally connects to him. So thank you for coming on, Nick. I'm going to close it for now, and hopefully I'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And keep your head up, and don't let no one define you. Do not ever let no one sit there and tear you down and bring you down. You're a good man. You're a young man. And guess what? You've got a lot to learn, yes, but you are on the right path, and I'm so proud to know you and proud of the path that you're taking. How's your mom doing?
She's better, but she's still not in very good condition.
And she's not. Just like I just want to let everybody know, please be praying for Miss Amberly Taylor with Taylor's Voice. She had a serious little situation and spelled it, and she had to have emergency surgery, huh? She's doing better though.
Yep.
That was
But
scary.
I think I caught COVID.
You think you caught COVID? Oh goodness, we better get some lemons and some tea.
Well, at lunch I couldn't taste my food and I couldn't smell what I was cleaning with.
Well, that's the first signs of it, so you got to take care of yourself in quarantine, okay?
Okay.
I've had it before too, and that's exactly how it starts. You'll lose your taste buds and your sense of smell, and then the next day after that, you know, you'll start to feel the side effects, okay? So just take care of yourself. If you need me, you pick up.
I've had COVID before. I had it when it first started.
And this might be that new strand, that Delta variant or something, so just be cautious, okay? And if you need me, you call me, and I'll be on the next flight, promise.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys, that was Nick. I brought him on here because tonight is something that I want to say to a lot of people that are not paying attention to the truth behind the scenes, behind the stories, behind the lies, and the untold truths of those that are behind bars. I know this world is a crazy place, but straight up, it is what it is. We're never going to see eye to eye on a lot of things. We're always going to have something whatever. We're not perfect people, but we all have differences, and that's okay. Everybody's got opinions, and in my personal opinion, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. It is what it is. But I want to say that whenever we are leaders, and I am the CEO and founder of Nation for Change and BTBKs and Nation Studios. I deal with a lot of people, a lot of different people from different classes, different brackets, everything, different races, and it doesn't matter to me. I treat them the way I want to be treated. And Nick is a young man, and he's a young activist, and he is a real good friend of mine, and I am so proud of him and everything that he does. But for a child to feel or to experience what they feel in their own opinion is racism or prejudice, that's wrong. And it from coming from a teacher, that is even worse. We send our kids to school to be educated, to learn, to know that they can do anything and be anything that they want to be. We push them and strive to push them in the right direction. I am so ashamed to sit there and say that if it was anything that I could have done and I couldn't do it, or if there was something that I could have said and couldn't have said it and I didn't. That's why I wanted to bring it to light. Our teachers, we should hold to a certain standard. This teacher should not be treating no child, especially a new student, the way that they did, and that is wrong. And I hope that if he is watching this or she is watching this, shame on you. You need to be more courteous and more knowledgeable of what you're doing and who you're doing it to. No child deserves to feel that type of injustice. No child deserves to feel that type of way or think that type of way. But these days and times, there's a lot of things that our kids are thinking that's going through their mind. And we need to be the ones that are holding them and guiding them in the right direction instead of putting them on a path of chaos and destruction. So I want to thank Nick that come on the show today. There's some things that are going on that will be going on in the next week or two. I don't know if you guys have heard, but there will be a protest in Alabama. And I'm here standing on behalf of Nation for Change and BTBKs and Nation Studios because that is my platform. I love advocacy work. It's what I've dedicated myself to. I know what it's like to live within the walls of the system. And I want you to understand that we all need to band together on this. It doesn't matter what organization. It doesn't matter if you're a member of an organization. It doesn't matter if you're an advocate or if you're just standing up for what's right. I need you to have an open mind and an open heart and about this situation. I know people know about what happened at Donaldson Prison, and I know I've been there personally myself and protested to bring attention and bring to light the situations that's going on at that prison, as well as other Mississippi prisons across this nation. I'm trying to tone this down because I don't want people to understand that to point fingers and attitudes or who's dating this. This is not a dating site, you guys. This is not where you find your next husband. This is not where you get your meal ticket. This is not where you get whatever. This isn't that type of stuff. Okay, so if you want that, go to singles.com and get up off. So with that being said, I know that there are some people that fight this fight every single day, just like myself. There is going to be two different rallies, and I urge every single person, no matter your differences, no matter your arguments, no matter your petty bullshit, to get about self, because this isn't about us. Get about your feelings and emotions. Get about your, I'm not doing that. I'd be damned. This isn't about you. If that was your brother, if that was your sister, your mom and your dad, your aunt or uncle, cousin, whatever the case may be, your baby daddy, if that was your loved one sitting behind those bars, if that was your loved one that was attacked and brutally beat down and had hits put on them because of guards and stuff, because you are an advocate, because you are a freedom fighter, would you not want any and everyone, every single entity, everybody that wanted you there, would you not want them there? It's time to set aside differences. It's a time to set aside the bullshit. It's time to stand up and together as a mass people that are standing up for what's right and what's justice. This is not a time to placate or hold someone's hand or pretend or go to. It's not about us. You're so right, Miss Lotus. You're absolutely right. This is not about us, but the people. Exactly. This is about those men and those women, our children. And I know Miss Lotus, I hate to put you on blast, but she's got children behind those bars. Do you think she gives a damn about anything other than her baby's safety? No, she wants what's right for her kids, and she don't care if it is anybody, if they're from here, not from here, if they just come. People need to understand whenever we move in a mass of people, 20 to 25 people, that's not making a statement. That's saying, hey, they're there. Whenever I say that we need a mass of people, that is hundreds of people. If you consider yourself an advocate, if you consider yourself as a supporter of what we're doing, get off your ass, put gas in your car, get your ass to the commissioner's office, and you stand there and you unite with those people. Put your differences aside and stand with them, because we can change this. But the only way we can change this is if we're standing beside the next one. We can't sit there and we could punch somebody out after it. But during that time, we need to sit there and stand united as one to get this message across that we are not going to back down. And the only way that's going to happen is if we are together. People will not always see you, or you will always be misunderstood. It doesn't matter if you're misunderstood. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I'm misunderstood all the time. Hell, Lotus can tell you that. And sometimes I say things that it comes out in the wrong way. But what I'm trying to tell you, and I hope that you understand this and you stay firm in this is not us. This is not a selfish movement. It's a selfless movement. And we have to get self out the way. This isn't about us. It's about them. We fight for what's right for them. We're fighting for why they are on hunger strikes. We're fighting for what they're putting themselves through. They're going without. They're sacrificing their own lives. Some having medical conditions, and they don't need to have to sit there and continue to put their own lives in jeopardy just to give us something to fight for. This is the time and the now that we have to fight for them, because they're giving all they got right now, this moment, to give us something to back them with. And this is the times where we say, fuck the bullshit and stand together, united in unity. So please I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna get the facts up when the dates are gonna be for these two protests. I know that if you do need anything as far as whenever it comes to going to the Alabama prison in Donaldson, I think her name is Miss Nikki. Miss Nikki's number is 334-245-0761. And also Miss Amira Rose. She's with TOPS. Let's see, it's at 256-792-1856. Pastor Kenneth Sharpton Glasgow, I hope that's correct, 334-791-2433. Now, this is the story about that. These are the press contacts. This is the drink. This is the Queen team and the unheard voices. Okay, get in touch with them. We want immediate release for Kinetic Justice. He's on a hunger strike. And on January the 30th in 2021, Robert O. Council, aka Kinetic Justice, among a well-known political prisoner, was brutally assaulted by officers at Donaldson Correctional Facility. Okay, this assault left Kinetic blind in one eye, amongst other injuries. The officers used excessive and unnecessary force, violating the Eighth Amendment. Cruel and unusual punishment clause. There was no legitimate need for the use of force, as he was unarmed and not a threat to the officers. Since his release from the hospital, he has been housed at Kilby's segregation unit on an alleged ADOC law enforcement services division, I&I, hold due to an investigation regarding the assault that took place. Kinetics, as well as others, have filed an intent to sue due to inhumane living conditions in the segregation quarters. Conditions such as no fire extinguisher system, no lights in cells, infestation of rats and roaches, inadequate ventilation systems, unsanitary waste systems, and unsafe and unhealthy living quarters. On August the 18th, Kinetics inquired to the segregation board as to what would be done about the current living quarters conditions that violate their basic human rights. The lieutenant responded, "We're not putting lights in cells. Use the daylight." The lieutenant didn't address any of the other concerns or conditions. Kinetics is being held in segregation without cause. He has no disciplinaries. The warden stated he is being held on I&I hold for an ongoing investigation. However, I&I stated today, August the 24th, that he is not on an I&I hold and suggested this was Miss Nikki Davenport, an outside organizer, and she is from FAM on Queen team, speak to the warden regarding why Kinetics is still being held in segregation. On August the 22nd, Kinetics went on a hunger strike regarding the inhumane living conditions and being held in segregation for an extended period of time without cause. He has stated he will remain on a hunger strike until he is released from segregation. Outside organizations such as FAM on Queen Team, Unheard Voices, OTCJ, and TOPS are demanding that Commissioner Dunn and all other ADOC subordinates cease all vindictive tactics of retaliation against peaceful inside organizers such as Kinetic Justice and the rest of the guys. Bernard Jemison is another one that I want you guys to stay tuned to. Ethan Moore, Benu, Hannibal Rassan, Swift Justice, and Bernard Jemison, and any other uprising peaceful organizers for their participation in exposing the Eighth Amendment right violations and human right violations. ADOC has an extensive history in manipulating their own policies by holding incarcerated individuals in segregation under the guise of a threat to security in all matters. Kinetic Justice is anything but a threat to security. However, security is or has been a threat to him. There will be a protest held in front of Alabama Department of Corrections, Commissioner Dunn's office, on Wednesday, September the 1st, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The address is 103 South Ripley Street, Montgomery, Alabama. Hope to see you there. I say that to say this. I'm going to say the address again is 301 South Ripley Street, Montgomery, Alabama. This will be September the 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Get in touch with Miss Nikki D. Get in touch with Amira. Get in touch with the pastor. I know you can rewind this. This isn't about who is right or who is wrong. It's what's just and what's unfair. And inhumane as their living conditions. They're on a hunger strike. This is the now and the time that you guys need to stand up and voice and stand beside one another in unity. We can't continue to sit there and let this stuff happen to our loved ones, and they have nothing to fight for. They're standing up for what's right. They're trying to get the help that they need, and it's our place as their loved ones, as community leaders, as organizations, as organizers. If we sit there and we say that we're offender advocates, then we need to stand up. It doesn't matter if you're a part of an organization, if you just think that this is the right thing to do. These men are literally sacrificing themselves. These are our freedom fighters. And just because you're in prison does not mean that you're subject to just any type of treatment. You get your asses up on September the 1st and you get down there to that commissioner's office in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to give you the address again. It's 301 South Ripley Street in Montgomery, Alabama. Again, get in touch with the Queen team, Miss Nikki D. If you don't know her, her phone number's on here a little bit before I started telling everything about this. And then Miss Amira Rose and Pastor Kenneth Glasgow. Get in touch with those three. They can give you more details, what you need to do. If there's anything that you can bring, this is the time. This is. If you don't know anything about advocacy, if you don't know anything about what we fight for or how we can help, whenever men and women are behind bars, start to put themselves on hunger strikes, the time is now. This is the time to put your petty differences aside and stand up for those who are actually going through the hell that they're going through and sacrifices themselves. There's a lot that we don't understand when it comes to advocacy. We won't know everything. We don't know everything. Some people are in this and have been in this for 20 something years. There are people that have done this their whole lives because of their loved ones been incarcerated. We don't know everything, but get this, we've got to learn when the time is right to actually stand up and fight, and the time is now. So that's one particular protest on this matter. And there is another one. It's going to be let's see, where is it at? I'm sorry, I'm believing it's all okay. And they're going to do the same day. Okay, so I'm sorry about that, you guys. It'll all be the same day. Both of those organizations have collaborated, but they're not collaborating. It's point blank. It's like this. It don't matter if you like that person. It don't matter if you support that person personally. That organization, if it's doing something that's helping somebody else within that prison system, then fuck your opinion. Point blank facts. If that person is trying to help someone within that organization with what their cause is, because we fight the same fight, just because we're from different states, it don't mean shit. So I say that was my daughter. Whoa, she needs to get on this call. Hey, my baby. So whenever I say that with all respect in the world. I don't care. Alabama is my home state. That is my home. I will fight for them to the day I take my last breath. There's nothing that I would not do for Alabama. But I live in Mississippi. I've lived in Mississippi for a long time. These are my family. I've lived in multiple places. Multiple. That's why my organization is called Nation for Change, because it's going to take a nation to change the situation and the stipulations that are going on within this prison system. It's not about one or the other. It's about us as a unit and us as a team and us as a whole. We all have different, just like Mississippi has a different constitution than Alabama. Get to know your laws. Get to know what you're doing. Get to know the facts of how we can get these men and women the real help that they need. Now is the time to act on it. I know I sound like a broken record, but I righteously don't give a damn. Sometimes people need to hear it over and over and over and over and over again. Get up off your asses September the 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you're sitting there and you're letting it come out your mouth that you're a prison advocate or that you support or you have a loved one that's incarcerated, get to Montgomery, get to South Ripley Street. Thank you, Lotus, for putting the address up there. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Miss Amberly, I hope you're doing good, even though that you've been through emergency surgery. Yeah, I know that a bed rest ain't going to put you out in the game. So be praying for Miss Amberly as well. She had to go through a serious situation. She is a fellow advocate. She is over Taylor's Voice. She's over Nick With It. And Miss Lotus on Fire. If you ever need anybody that knows anything about Reiki healing, you better call this woman. She is a beast at what she does. She's brilliant. I can sit there and I can call these people on blast because I happen to work with them on a regular. There's so much that we can do. And I want to say this. It doesn't matter how you fight as long as you fight. I bring resources to the table that a lot of people don't. I do things my own way because I don't work well with others. for what I've been told, and I got a mouth on me. But I bring the resources, and my heart is in the right place because I'm passionate and driven, because I know what it's like to be behind those bars, and I will not stand down for no one or nobody. I know what's right. I know it has to be done. I know the way that it has to be done, and it will get done. We all move in different ways, guys. We all have different resources that we bring to the table. Just because one person's over here and one person's over here doing something doesn't mean nothing. If they can get to that class of people in the direction that they're doing, let them do that. That's their walk. That's their resources. They're going to utilize their resources that they have. Me, I have a lot of connections with the music industry, with different organizations. I love these organizations. I might not always see eye to eye with them. I might not like some of the tactics or some of the ways that they're doing things, but I will never bash an organization or an entity or an artist because of their opinion or because of what their vision is. My vision is completely different, completely off the charts. But I know that no one bashes me because I am not about to sit there and bash someone else. Don't do it. If you see them doing something and you support that, take your opinions and take your emotions and put it to the side. Look at what they're fighting for. Look at the underlying clause of it. You know what I'm saying? If it goes in what you believe within morally within yourself, that you fight for yourself, stand up. It doesn't matter your differences. Stand beside that person to be that other body right there, because we need bodies now. We don't need Facebook texts. We don't need freaking screenshots. We don't need 1,000 people viewers or whatever like that. Fuck that. We need bodies on the ground and boots on the ground at these protests. That's what we need. And it doesn't matter if you're in Oklahoma or if you're in Denver, Colorado, or if you're in New York, or if you're in Alabama or Mississippi or Texas. If you can get your ass up and you got the means to get there, I don't care if you got to get a bus ticket. Get your butt down there to where they need you. If it's a big situation, especially whenever it comes critical to whenever men are putting themselves on hunger strikes, get your ass out of it. Get in a car and get down there to where they're at, because they have nothing else to jeopardize but their own life, and that's what they're doing. They're giving it everything that they got to give us what we need to stand up for them. And we want his immediate release from the INI, because he should not have been segregated. He should not be held in disciplinary or segregated because of something they did. What? Because they don't want the truth? Because of how they treat people? This is facts. This is how they treat people that are incarcerated. They don't care. We have to change that narrative. We have to change that problem. And those officers and those guards need to be removed. He should be put back to where he was, how can I say, he was defusing situations. He is not one that goes out and gets into fights for no reason. But the underlying story of that is that they had hit someone that was handicapped, from what I've been told. They were retaliating against someone else, and someone stood up. Man, don't do them like that. And he got brutally beat. These men don't deserve to be beat upon being blinded. Who's going to take up the charges for whenever who's going to go to jail for that? Really? Has there ever been any charges brought against these officers? But he's still being segregated? I don't understand that. Don't understand it at all. So anybody can just beat you to where you can't see anymore upon recognition, throw you in a hole in a cell somewhere and just, fuck it. No, not anymore. Stand up. Stand up. This is not a time for us to back down. This is not a time for us to stand idle. This is a time for us to come up with those solutions. This is a time for us to rise up as one within all of our differences and say, you know what, I got you. If that was my family, I want you here too. Put yourself in that person's situation, in that loved one's situation. Take self out of it and put them first. That's what you're supposed to be here for anyways. It's not about me and you. It's about them. Get your thought process and your perspective corrected, because we've never been here for us. We've been here for them the whole time. I'm hoping to have Miss Lotus on a live with me one day to talk about her endeavors, but I want to put it out there again. It's going to be September the 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Montgomery. The address is on this live. Miss Lotus provided that for us tonight. 301 South Ripley Street, Montgomery, Alabama. There's going to be a protest for Mr. Kinetics and for the other guys, I think it was Bernie or Benny. That was actually I know you said it. I know you said it. She said both of them hoe ass officers need to be beat. Yeah, I said it. And until they start experiencing what they putting out, doubt if it ends. Same with police. Doubt if it ends. Same with police. I already did, girl. It just already did. And it's on live anyways, baby. But I'll take it down. So I completely understand and I agree. You know, people don't, they want to sit there and think that these guards are so high and mighty that they can't be knocked off their stool. I'm not saying to use any force. I'm not saying to use, you know, yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. You know, I'm blasted. You know, I can't. So it is what it is. But whenever I say that these guards are just human beings, these guards are just people that get a paycheck just like everybody else. They are. They need to have the understanding that we're still somebody's baby. That's still someone else's child that's in that prison. And they will come up and they will rise up. And you cannot treat our family like this anymore. If you've got a loved one that's incarcerated at Alabama prison, there's no reason why people from other states should have to come to your fucking rally. Get up, and stand up for your loved ones. Alabama needs to rise up. Mississippi needs to rise up. It doesn't matter where you're housed at. If you are a loved one, if you're just passing through and you know that you're going through a job or you're going on a vacation or whatever the case may be, and you're sitting there and you are going through Montgomery September 1st, stand up. It ain't shit for you to pop off for 30 minutes. Just stand there. 30 minutes worth of one body next to another body means something because there's volume and there's power within the masses that we create. And that mass is standing for what's right and what's justice because we're all God's baby. You right. And we're not all the same. We come from all different kinds of backgrounds. We come from all different, but even then, we're still the same. This is our family, you guys. Stand up for what's righteous or you'll fall for anything. So, I don't know what else that you could actually want me to say on here other than we need to be a selfless people because at the end of the day, it's not us that we're fighting for. It's them. So, again, I know that I will be there. Nation for Change is coming in solidarity with fucking fam. That's my hometown. That's my home. I mean, I got plenty of people locked up. I was locked up in Alabama as well. I'll be there. And I ain't gonna be on no bullshit. And ain't nobody else gonna be on no bullshit. But if I gotta call everybody from every possible place in this freaking nation myself to get as many people as I can, I am. I'm gonna be circulating this date. I'm gonna be circulating this information. And if you're watching this, I hope you do it too. We need more people out there, you guys. These ladies and these men that are on the outside, they're sitting there doing all that they can to get the recognition, to get the support down there to the commissioner's office, okay? And these guys are sitting there putting themselves on hunger strikes to give you what you need, man, to give it to you. Don't make what they're doing go in vain. Don't. God bless and talk to you soon.